Well, it is Friday, so that means Colorado's best attorney is here with some law school lessons for the layperson. Phil Harding with Harding and Associates. Always good to see you on Fridays, Phil.
Good to be here.
You always, teach us such good things. And a lot of people, when you have a case and the insurance policy says, all right, we have a policy limit of 25 grand. I think, okay, that's it. That's all you can get is 25 grand, right?
Well, that's what anyone would think when you go on that.
Yeah.
And let's talk a little bit. Today we're going to go deep into a concept, and it's called a policy limit demand. When to use it. First, I want everyone to know what a policy limit is, and that's a limit on insurance. Now, if you're insured or the other side is insured, everyone has limits. Could be 25,000, could be 25 million. The minimum required under Colorado law for an automobile is 25,000.
Okay, so if that's the 25,000, then that's it. In my mind, it's like, okay, that's all you can get. But you're saying not quite.
Not quite.
How is that?
And you can get more. So if the insurance company takes risk with their insured's money, they are liable for their decisions. And I want to give you an example and our viewers an example.
Okay.
Let's just look at this. So when looking at this, the defendant's insurance, remember the defendant is the person who created the act to you, and let's say they ran into you. They only have 25,000. Now let's say if you had medical bills of $20,000, it seems like it's a no-brainer that the insurance company would pay that 25,000, right?
Yeah, it's just 5,000 more.
Right, but what if the insurance company says, hey, look, you had pre-existing conditions, or the accident was partially your fault, or something like that, and they say, go ahead and sue us. We're going to take that risk. Now let's assume you go to trial. Let's say you get a $25,000 or a $75,000 verdict, well above their $25,000 that they offered. Let's look at this next graphic and see what it looks like now. So here's the verdict of $75,000. The defendant's insurance company is going to say, all right, here's the $25,000.
Here was that limit, right? That $25,000.
And now the defendant, the person that was insured, says, wait a second, I got to pay $50,000? That's not right. That's not fair. Yeah, so if the insurance company had paid the $25,000 when your attorney made that policy limit, the defendant would have only owed their deductible, maybe a $500 or $1,000. But since the insurance company made a bad decision with their insured, that the defendant now owes $50,000. Do you really think that that insured, the defendant, is liable for the insurance company's bad choice?
That wouldn't be fair at all.
Of course not.
Okay.
That's why when you make a policy limit demand, the other side's insurance company is on the hook for the entire judgment. Now, I want to dig a bit more. Okay. All right? We talk about this all the time. Remember, we talk about the make-whole law under Colorado. Right. In that previous example, there was $25,000 limit and $20,000 in medical bills that the health insurance paid. But I want to show how to make even more money on this and medical bills that you can write off the health insurance. Now, this is in a lot of circumstances you need to talk to an attorney, but let's look at the make-whole law. Okay. Now, remember, the make-whole law specifically says, I'm going to read this part. Okay. Any provision in a policy contract or benefit plan, in other words, health insurance, allowing or requiring reimbursement or subrogation in circumstances in which the injured party has not been fully compensated is void against public policy. In other words, they're saying you can't do it when someone says it's void against public policy. Okay. So let's talk about this. The make-whole law says that if you accept the policy limits, it's presumed that you are not made whole. Now, I want to dig into this a bit more because we're saying, you know what, that $25,000 is not enough if you only have $20,000 in those medical bills, right? Right. So if you have the make-whole law and you properly plead it, then you don't have to pay back that $20,000 to your health insurance company. So you can keep all of that. You can keep because they're naturally assuming if you met 20,000, right? Then up to the 25,000, to be made whole, you would need it all. You would need to keep it all. Yeah, do I have that right? Almost. Okay. The statute says if you get the full policy limits, here, you get the full policy limits of 25,000, it's presumed that you are not made whole. Okay. So, last thing, remember, everyone has UMUIM on their cars. Right. Unless they sign a waiver. That stands for uninsured. And you told us not to sign the waiver. Never sign the waiver. Please never sign the waiver. So, if you didn't sign that waiver, and let's say you only have the minimum of 25,000, here's the first step. First of all, 25,000 from the other side. You're not made whole, so you don't have to pay back that $20,000 in medical insurance. The next thing is your UMUIM. If you get the full policy limits, again, the same thing. It's presumed you were not made whole. So in that original scenario where there was a $25,000 and $20,000 in medical bills, you think, man, I'd only net $5,000. But in this case, in this scenario, you're netting $50,000 on this case. Wow, $5,000 or $50,000, which one do you want, right? Yeah. But you need an attorney like you, Phil, to get you that full $50,000.
Good stuff.
It
really
is,
good stuff.
yeah.
All right. So if you have any questions for Phil Harding, just go to kwgn.com, click on Colorado's Best. You're going to see his photo there. You can click on right on his photo, and you can send him your questions directly. He takes the time to answer them all personally and confidentially, and he might even address that issue right here. And to reach Harding & Associates directly, call this number, 303-762-9500, 303-762-9500. You can also get a free consultation anytime, and you can find him online at hlaw.org. Well, coming up on Colorado's Best, Joanna is outside. She's getting her sexy sweat on with the ladies from Hot Mama's Exercise Studio. They will show you the latest workout that brings results with dance moves. Pretty hot ones, too. Up next, food safety is extremely important, especially in the summertime. We're heading outside to get some food safety tips from our dietitian.